I'm just going live right now, so I'm still in the setup process, sharing the links. Today, I'm kind of not in the mood too much to do uh, too much stuff. It's been a busy day, and I've been working quite a bit, doing some CAD stuff, and you know, it's it's just been a busy day, so I'm kind of tired. I just took a shower, so I feel all relaxed and everything. So I was thinking of doing something because I guess Fridays are not a very good day to do live videos. End of the week, people want to do things, go out, go places, and there's events, family events, things like that occupy people. So and also too, a lot of the folks in Die Warriors on the Die Warriors team are in the West Coast, the time zones are really bad between where I am, East Coast in Florida, and time zones over there in California. So sometimes I go solo and I just um, do the live stream myself, and so I usually rely a lot on comments from people watching. So if there's questions and things, a particular Die Warrior product, want to know a little bit about the history of Die Warriors, or if there's any specific figure stuff that we can talk about, GI Joe collections, Figma, Revoltech, things like that. Hunting for figures, model building, diorama building, um, generic pop culture type questions. Like what cartoons did you grow up with in the '80s and stuff like that. Yeah, those things are all topics we can talk about. So I was thinking of doing something as well. I've been wanting to design a particular weapon system, kind of for the VSS, but it's something generic that could be applied to either to another system, or something that will be that doesn't rely on any particular brand. In other words, you could just take this weapon system and just put it to whatever figure you want, whatever environment you want. So I've been thinking about doing some sort of automated type of gun platform. So I was thinking about using the VSS as the starting point. Make things a little bit interesting there. But at a certain point, I plan to just make it kind of generic, so it'll fit on. If you don't have a VSS, it won't matter. It'll work. So I was thinking of just doing a CAD design from scratch, and just see how far we can go in about 2 hours or so. I usually try to keep these live videos at about 2 hours. I know last week we went a little bit more than that, but so 2 hours is my ballpark figure. I try to keep it in. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with stuff. I'm winging this. I'm doing this all from scratch. Well, just about. And I don't have a design in my mind. I just have the overall end result of what I'm looking for. So if I make a mistake, if it's not a good design, if it fails, it'll all be on this stream. So this is how I kind of just design. Just pick up an idea and go with it. So with that, let me see what mode to work with. hopefully, the, so the thing is that I'm not using a dual monitor, so I don't know if someone leaves a comment. It'll take me a little while before I realize it. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new part. And I'm also going to start what's called an assembly. Because what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make this weapon system attached to an existing structure. So instead of bringing up the structure, I'm going to go ahead and just make a small version of it. And from there, I'll build the weapon on top of that. So I'm going to go open. I'm going to go to CSS, names, bulkheads version 1. Here. And I'm going to just choose, I'm going to choose this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and, okay, just put that there. I'm going to open another part. And I'm going to select, I think, this one. And I'm going to need 4 of those. 1 for each of these little tabs. And so now I'm going to go to, what do I have already? No. Actually, let me just close this part. I'm going to go ahead and start a new document, assembly. And I'm going to go ahead and put this piece right smack in the middle. And I'm going to insert another component, these beams. I got to do this 4 times. And this I'm just setting up what I'm going to be doing. It takes a little bit of time, but should be well worth it. So I also didn't properly warn everyone that I was going to do a live stream. So people were caught off guard, I think, as well as viewers, because I just went ahead and just went live. I didn't do any schedule. I didn't put a particular time when I was going to start. So let's see. First thing I'm going to do is just get everything along the same plane. So these surfaces represent a plane. So I'm just putting everything along the same plane. And so that way, come on, get it. Yeah, so that way I can start rotating objects without the objects going all crazy. So here I go. Let me just move these things out of the way. Come on, move, 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 and move. So now I'm going to go ahead and just rotate these. Rotate this. And that's it. So almost done for this part. I guess we'll work with this one. select this. Yeah, right here. Select that. Measurement. So what I was thinking of doing is that I went ahead and earlier today made a complete grid for the VSS on top of the upper hull. And so the grid has these square structures here, and it's a good location to attach a weapon system. So I'm thinking about putting the weapon system so it can attach on this particular structure just along these areas here, with the square part, with this being the center. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so before getting online, I noticed there's been some new posts in the Die Warriors group, and one caught my interest. Well, several actually did, but one in terms of talking right now. Um, Someone is doing the 3D printed vehicle, and I think it's called the Night Wolf. Let me see if I just pop over there and see get the name. A guy named Marcelo, and he's doing a vehicle called the Night Wolf, and it's 3D printed, and I tell you, it looks pretty good. And there's some people out there that got some real talent when it comes to designing something and doing things in 3D printing. And that's 0. One thing that's challenging about printing is that they do take time. The larger the object is, the more time it takes. Right now, I got some printers going, so I may have to stop from time to time and tend to them. One printer in particular that's kind of giving me a hard time today is this one. I don't know why, but it was printing perfectly. And then I went ahead and changed the filament spool, put some new filament in there, good quality stuff, and it's having trouble um, making good connection to the build plate. So things want to lift off, and so I had to go through several starts. So that was not fun. 0.25. Let's see. Well, that should be. So I've been going through the Star Trek series, the new stuff, not Star Trek Discovery, nothing like that. I've been going through Star Trek Voyager. I just finished. And before that, I was rewatching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, just looking for props in the background that might be good for a spaceship, since I'm working on that VSS. I think Most likely the best inspiration I can use for the VSS that I'm designing is from the series Stargate, SG-1, and also Stargate Atlantis. Mostly because uh, the ships, the interior of the ships in particular, have a very human element. You know, in the storage rooms, for example, they're using the wire shelves that you can just buy off of Amazon. Um, the computers are not too far fetched, not like a Star Trek computer, just using the LCARS interface. It's something that's a little bit more uh, real world. And in terms of doing something like the VSS, where you have all sorts of inspiration that could be Star Trek, and that's very sci-fi. Something like the Stargate ships, you know, for the most part, yeah, it is sci-fi, but it's a little bit more believable in a certain way, a little bit more tangible. I mean, yeah, they are using sci-fi ships, settings, things like that, but they're also using um, things like MP90s and other handheld weapons and other things that you can kind of relate with, in the real world. But in terms of props, that's what I've been looking at. Um, and it's not really the prop that I'm looking for. I'm looking at things like handles along a corridor, looking at the number of fire extinguishers, things like that. I do know, like, for example, in something like the U.S. Navy or so, when you're in a submarine, fire is the number one deadly enemy. So as soon as there's a fire, everyone has to do everything to put out that fire. So they have fire stations where you can get oxygen, you can get other things to suppress the fire, and things like that. So I'm looking for similar stuff in the ships from Stargate. You do see a lot of fire extinguishers, so that's a prop that I'm going to have to print more of. I do have a fire extinguisher prop. I don't have any to show on the camera right now, but I do have them. Well, maybe I don't have it. Let me see. I might have one just laying around back here, but I do not. I might have some down here. No. So I have no. I don't have any to show right now, but I do have them. Um, what I do need to do is design the box to keep the fire extinguishers mounted on the wall. So anyway, let me go ahead and save. So I'm done with this part. This is just what I wanted to show here. This is a setup. What I'm going to do next is design a part that I can put for the bottom of the weapon, so the weapon can kind of rest on this area here, and probably intersect into this. So let me go ahead and save this. Go to sneeze. At the moment, I don't have an idea where I'm going to save this, so I'll put it under here, weapons. What should I call it? I'll just call it version 2. I'll go back in later on if I come up with a better name. But for now, version 2 will be fine. And let's see, call this one assembly. Let's just call it mini grid. Mini grid. So, okay, so now I actually begin. So I'm going to go to the top view. And what I'm going to do here is basically trace over these areas here. And maybe trace the inside of this. I'm doing this so that way I could take it to uh, another window and I can build around it. So let's see, take this, go to sketch, go to sketch there. One technique I can use is the offset feature. And the offset feature allows me to take a line and a shape, an edge in this case, and duplicate it slightly offset from the original. So I can specify like, well, let me do this right here, boom. I can specify like so many millimeters to offset. So I can tell, for example, let's say I want to offset this entire structure, let's say 2 millimeters away. So I can make a 2 millimeter thick part. So specify 2 millimeters, select which line, and I have select chain, so it makes the entire chain of lines. Select it, and I got a 2 millimeter separation. If I want to go back later on, I could change this to, let's make it 3 millimeters. And everything changes accordingly. So, but that's not what I want to do at the moment. So I'll just go delete these things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make an array, a circular array. So circular sketch pattern. Okay, I already made 4 elements by default. That's what I wanted to do. And the last thing I'm going to do is do another little offset. Go back to the measurement that I want. And I'm going to select this edge here. I want to go in the other direction. Here, here. I just want to make, just want to copy this rounded square. Okay. Now, just for something easy, I'm going to go ahead and just mark the center. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Copy. Because it's trying to copy the models, the background, and I don't want that. And it's not going to do that. All I want is these lines. So it's saying that it can't copy the models in the background, but it will copy these lines. So not everything gets copied. That's exactly what I want. So in case I need to do this again, I'm going to go ahead and save this sketch without any 3D object being made. I'm just going to save the whole file. And now I begin the next file. So this was an assembly. So what I'm doing now is just making a separate part. Sketch. Paste. This. Move it there. Ta-da! Okay, let me see if there's any. Oh, greetings. Just designing uh, a weapon system for VSS. Upper home. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. The comments is that my window is overlapping the area where I see comments. So I don't know if when someone makes a comment. So yeah. So yeah, I think if I continue doing this type of style for streaming, I'm going to need to have a dual monitor setup. I think so that way I can have one monitor separate, and I could just have this one. I'm using a 45-inch TV as my monitor, so it's nice and big, everything like that, and I could easily do lots of windows on it. But the thing is that sometimes, especially when it comes to browsers, sometimes the monitors, sometimes the browser, you don't have options, like Facebook, for example, the chats are in certain areas and you can't move those chats around. So this particular program, I get to see a little thumbnail of the screen that I'm doing. So I get to see like when a dialog box appears, I know there's activity and that everyone can see what I'm doing. But unfortunately, the right side of the screen gets covered up, and that's where I have the comments, and I can't move the comments out, so they get covered up. So my apologies. So what I'm doing is making a weapon system. I don't have an idea in my mind on how it's going to be, so I'm kind of winging it right now. Uh, so I'll have to go back and make fixes, make changes, things like that. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and select this. I'm going to go ahead and extrude the 3D shape from it. I'm just going to say 1.5 millimeters. That's my standard for the thickness. And I think from here, I'm just going to do an outline on some parts. So let's see, how do I want to do this outline? I think I will do this outline from the top right here. All I want to do is sketch, dimension. Actually, I want this. Actually, no. I want this. I'll show you why. In just a moment. This and there. Let's try these two for now. I want offset, also 1.5. Like I said, that's kind of like my standard. There, and go the opposite direction. Now I want to close off the ends, so I can make these as lines. Select, make a center line, and I'm going to mirror it 90 degrees, and so watch this. So I'm going to go the other direction, this way. Mirror. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and select these and do a circular pattern again. Now I'm going to go ahead and make this into a 3D object. I'm going to go in this direction. And let's see, what would be a good number? I can say 3. Two, let's say. Let's do 6. If it's too long, I'll go back later. This may not actually be needed. Yeah, this might not actually be needed. So this this might be a part I might get rid of later, but we'll see how it looks for now. Because what I'm thinking of doing is putting some ports to attach a circle and oval here 4 times, and doing that to the grid part also. Let me go ahead and save this. Now the most difficult part is what to call this part. Um, stand maybe, I don't know. I'll call this one a. I'll call it stand -1 for now. And let's see if there's any comments. So now I'm going to switch the window, go back and look. So has there been anything interesting going on with the other groups, figure groups? I saw something from Marauders earlier, but it was just in passing, so I don't know if there's anything new going on there. So this is the object that we just made, that stand. And to control, well, let me get rid of this outline here because I don't want to see it. Okay. So to connect parts together, it's called a mate. So the way it works is you specify what faces you want to mate the objects with. So that's one there. Let's say here, I want to mate this here. And let's say the inside. No, that's not quite what I wanted to do there. Get rid of this one. I guess I could try this face here to this line there. So you can see this is a little bit too long because this part touches that. So let's go ahead and make this part that we just did shorter to right about there. So let's switch. Hello to everyone watching. I'm just kind of winging it tonight. So if you have questions, not necessarily what I'm doing here, but questions in general, feel free to ask. Since I'm doing this solo and kind of improvising as I go along, I really don't have a topic to really discuss. So I'm just kind of doing what I can to make things interesting. Let's say 2.25. I'll make it nice and close. I don't need to do this. All I want to do is just make one line here. Offset to that. Yep. Offset to that. And I'm going to just select those lines that I did. I'm going to duplicate them. Let's try that. Then I'm going to trim the excess off. I use a scroll wheel to control the zooming. And the way this program works is it wants to zoom in the center of the screen of the area that your mouse is focusing on. So I find that a lot faster than trying to go to some menu to slide left, slide right, slide up, slide down, that kind of thing in order to move the objects around. I just go back and forth with the zoom on the scroll wheel. Oh, now I've found some issues, some errors. Say no solution found. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just say delete all. And that fixed it. So I'm going to save this. Go back and take a look. Update. So it's still a little bit too long, but okay. Well, I'll go back and adjust that a little bit later, I think. So this must have been 2.5. The thickness must have been 2.5. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any comments. No comments. Okay. So okay. I'm just thinking. I'm going to go ahead and suppress what I did. Because I'm thinking of something else now. Okay. What I'm going to do is because this part is going to have to be printed, and that means one side is going to be facing down on the build plate, so one side is going to be going up. So the part that goes up, I could put all sorts of nice structures and things, but the parts that touch the build plate, if I had those edges down, then I would have to be concerned about those edges touching the build plate, but all of this not. So I would have to find a way to raise them up so the plastics the plastic won't bend as it's up. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open up another file because I'm going to go ahead and actually I think I have the file already open. I'm going to take one of these ovals and just copy the oval and use it for the other object. Yet go to here, this one, put the objects here. Okay, this. I'm going to go ahead and make it into the center, more or less into the center. Let's say right about here. And center this part here. Paste it and just kind of drag it. Yeah, center. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror this. Make sure it's 0 degrees. Select that. Yeah. Mirror this. Go here. And there it is. So I will okay that. Go to features, extruded cut. And let's just make this a 3.5 millimeter cut. Okay, so there, save this. And when I go to this assembly, since I'm using those parts, yeah, update. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. So I move this out the way. You can see those are those attachment ports that now exist there. Let me get some drink. I feel my voice kind of getting rough. Sometimes I am reminded by little things like a rough voice. So I want to go me, to make sure that I'm getting the roughness out. So in my imagination, I'm thinking like me, like that, and I'm thinking of a long time ago watching the little rascals, and always the character is it Alfalfa? Is that his name? The one with his hair sticking out. Uh, I remember one particular episode where he is singing, in a very terrible voice and everything. But he starts off before he starts singing. He starts going me, to get his voice going. So every time I'm thinking along those lines, it just reminds me of my childhood watching Little Rascals. It used to come on after school. He used to come home, I think around 3 o'clock or something like that. They would be on, and Three Stooges would be on also around the same time. And then one day, Three Stooges were not showing, and I find out later is because some people complained that it was too violent. And I'm thinking like, too violent? People are not gonna, take a saw and try to saw someone's head, like Mo would do to Curly, or the eye gouging thing, or the nose, the nose hitting. So it's like, uh, just people going overboard, I think. Anyway, I want to copy these things here. So let me go ahead and do this. Close that. Let me come back here, do another sketch. Checking the comments. Nope, no new comment. Rats. I am eager for comment. Hopefully it's a question that I can answer. And let's see. Other little shows I used to watch growing up. I grew up in New Orleans, so I'm originally from New Orleans. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get the center line. Okay, I want to connect this to there. Reason why I'm doing this is that I have the other model centered right there as well. So let me copy this and I'll get that message. So I want to make sure that if I lose my place, I can always just put this, connect this point to the center, the origin in the other window, and I'll be pretty confident that this oval structure is going to match up. So what I want to do here is take this and I want to do a little circular pattern thing again. By default, it goes to 4. Okay, so I just take this, copy this, copy, yes, and close that. Save this one. Switch. One up there, switch to this. Come to here, go sketch, sketch, change my view, and paste. Now I can just take this origin part and move it right there. Then I go make a cut all the way through. So I'll say up to surface. From that face to this face. So save this, and I'll go to the previous screen right here. And now let me go ahead and hide the previous stuff. So, okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and mate this. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to take that one. Go mate. Once again, I think I should have rebooted the machine to kind of clear memory. Oh, the thing should have come over here. Huh, I don't know why I didn't. Parallel. I don't want it to be parallel. Huh. Wow. If there's a problem, then I do this. Just start it over. Delete that. Insert the stand. Paste that there. I'm going to make this to here. So this to here. And let's say make this to here. That's what I wanted to do on the previous one. And because if I move it around right now, it's going to rotate along that area. So select that, select the parts underneath, and now everything is lined up. So when I put some pegs to attach these parts, all I had to do is just put them here, and it'll lock into place to here, and it'll be stable. So good. Okay, I'm going to save this. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to have to make something like a turntable. And it will have to have some structure going up where I can attach the guns. The guns would have to pivot up and down, so it'll have to have like an axle. So okay, so how should I attack this first? Let me go ahead and make let me just change the view. So right here, let me go ahead and make a circle part all around this right here. And so from there, I'll build up the area where I'll have to put the axle eventually to connect. So basically, it'll be a circle, then it'll be a box, then it'll split as I go up, and I'll put the axle in between that split. And I'll go back and I'll make another cut coming down, and that's where I'll be placing the turntable part. So let me switch over to the previous one. So I know we're collectors, like G.I. Joe collectors and things like that. Talking about school in the old days. I used to get home from school. I'm not sure which one I was going to at the time, but 82, or maybe it was 83. When did the cartoons come out? Because they came out with Mass Device, and I remember, like I think it was 3:30. Uh, Friends told me that GI Joe cartoon was going to be coming on that week, so I was ready to kind of watch. So as soon as I got home, turned on the TV and kind of picked up the phone or something and kind of coordinated with friends to kind of find out like when the broadcast for GI Joe was going to come on, and because they were looking for it, and back then cable existed, but it was not everyone had cable, and I had cable off and on. It just depends on what my family would have. So sometimes we would have cable, sometimes we would not. And I remember the cable box back then, there were hard push buttons, they weren't anything digital. So we had like a row of buttons, and then you had like a switch. So you go, like, the switch had like three modes, like one, two, and three. So if you wanted certain, some channels within a certain range, you would move the switch to that particular um, position, and then you would press the button for the channel you want, and it would be like hard clunk, 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 clunk. And so I don't remember how many buttons it was or anything like that. But for GI Joe, it was being broadcast locally, so we would just go to the old-fashioned knob on the TV and just change the channels, that kind of thing. And and it won't be like one channel after the other. It'll be one channel and then a, a channel that has nothing on it, another channel nothing on it except snow, and then finally, like maybe like two channels away, there'll be some broadcast. So we've always moved that knob like one, two, then there will be a broadcast. Is that it? No. So move it to another station, and finally it was there. Hey, it's Joe. That's it. So we were watching those good old days. Is that how Cobra Commander sounds? Destro's got a deep voice. Where's the Baroness from? So it was fun back in those days talking about watching the first GI Joe cartoon, and so I remember coming home from school, especially on the final day with GI Joe, as the Joes were attacking the Cobra Temple. That you would have a Mobat on these four-legged walkers, and you know, they had like spikes at the ends of their legs, and they were just spearing right into the mountainside as they were walking. And then Cobra would release these large robotic snake-looking things. I think Snake Eyes had magnetic minds. I think at one point my father was kind of watching with me, and I'm not sure at what point. Maybe it was sometime later. I'm not quite sure what point, but it wasn't the first time when it was broadcasting. Okay. And so anyway, I remember my father, or maybe it was my brother. I don't remember which one. Kind of chuckled when they heard magnetic minds, but you know, but good old days. Now that's the type of Cobra super weapon, tactical super weapon that I want to see as a toy line. These were kind of boxy looking uh, you know, robots with the Cobra styling, there. And I think they had like rockets or something in their legs, so they kind of hovered, and that would be, that would make a nice little third party toy line if somebody wants to do not toy line, vehicle. So anyway, here I'm go ahead and make this. I'm hearing some sort of clicking behind me. I got to make sure that the print is coming out okay because I don't want to have to cancel anything. Yeah, the print does look like it's getting better. It started off very 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 difficult. I had a hard time getting the thing to stay put. So okay, this is 3.5. Let's just make this one 4. Actually, let's just make this one 5 millimeters because I am going to need some room on the inside to do stuff. How much room do I need? 1.5. I'm tired, as you can say. Oh, let's just make this 2. Go back and make it 2. I could always make it more, but if it's, I just make it 2 for now. So, anyways, turntable part. I don't know. Usually I go around for something like this, 10 millimeter radius might be good. 20 looks okay. So this is radius right there. So that becomes 20 millimeter diameter. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a cut. I don't want to go all the way through. So I'm going to say offset from surface. Offset at about, let's just say 1 millimeter offset. From what surface? Well, how about from this surface? Okay, so if you look at it there, it's going to go down, right? It's about 1 millimeter. So, okay, let's go ahead and make this thing here a bit thicker than 1. Yeah, I am tired, so I'm not going to take too long, I think. Because usually I'm a little bit sharper than this. No questions. No comments. Well, one good thing is that this video will be on YouTube. So if anyone misses it, they can go to YouTube and take a look. So, okay, let's see. Right here, let's go ahead and put I think I'm messing up some more. But I'm glad I caught myself first. Yeah, I don't know why I'm kind of sleepy right now. Not sleepy, but just tired. Maybe just it was a busy day. But I don't think it should have been. I don't think I should be this tired. So let's just take this for now. copy, and I just save it for later. Then, in other words, I'm not going to get rid of this sketch. I'm just going to keep it there. File, new part. So this is basically at the turret part. But I need to specify the plane. What plane I'm going to do? Top plane. Then sketch to that. So paste. And I'm going to go ahead and make this one, how thick? The same questions over again. Well, let's just go ahead and make this one 2. Why? Well, because I can always make it thicker later. So let's see, sketch. Yeah. I'm going to make an outline. Yeah, I really don't think Fridays are. I don't know why. Okay. I really don't think Fridays are that great for doing the live video. Just 5 millimeters in, that's kind of thick. What's a good thickness for this? Let's just say. Okay, let's just say 5 millimeters thick. I'm going to go ahead and make this right there. So after G.I. Joe, they would broadcast Transformers. And I never really got into Transformers too much. At first I did, but as the series went on and on, there were other things that caught my interest. Thundercats came on after Transformers, and at a certain point, I had to, to turn off TV and go do homework and things like that. So let's take this, and let's go ahead and mirror this. So one thing that was challenging for me as a kid is in terms of getting into Transformers, is that the Transformer stuff got expensive. And I think back then the G.I. Joe figures were like 99 cents, and that was already tough for me to get money for the figures. So mirror this. And so when it came to Transformers, either I wanted a figure from G.I. Joe or a vehicle, or I would have to get some about the same amount to buy a Transformer figure. So Transformers got expensive, and I really couldn't keep up with that. Now I did have one friend. He had and I'm not kidding, every Transformer that came out, every G.I. Joe that came out, every Star Wars that came out, and every Lego that came out. And then the Zoids started to get popular. There was some stores that started to sell some Japanese brands like Microman. Of course, that was Micronauts. But after the company that did Micronauts, I think they went out of business or closed or something. But so after 2 years, there were no more Micronauts to find. But there were some stores that still would import the original Microman. That's basically where the Micronauts came from. So they were importing things from Takara back then. And so by chance, I would go to one particular store that was kind of close to my house, and I would find, in their toy section, um, some Microman figures, and they also had some other Japanese brands. One of them was Zoids, and so to try something new, I bought a Zoid, showed it to some friends in the neighborhood. The one whose parents would buy him every toy, he got involved, and so he started to buy every Zoid that he could find, basically. So at first there were three Zoids that came out, and he eventually got all three. I just got two, and then they came out with another wave of Zoids, and he bought all of them. There was like a spider, a scorpion, some sort of vehicle that could float. They had like pontoons on the sides. Uh, and then there was another, I guess, another wave or something, because he started to buy some additional Zoids, and I don't remember how they looked. Then, by chance, I came across a Zoid, one of the newer ones, and I bought for myself, and I think I bought two. One was like a praying mantis, and the other was like a T Rex type. And but by then he was beginning to move on to something else. I think it was Lego. And then I went to Radio Shack with my brother one time, and they had this large, I think it was for like $50, a large Zoid that looked like a mammoth. And so, we bought it. It wasn't until years later, and of course, I don't have it anymore. And so, years later, I found out that that was actually a rare thing to find. It was sold exclusively in the U.S. By Radio Shack, and I don't know if there was a Japanese version, but it was sold exclusively in the U.S. through Radio Shack, and people were selling it for, I don't remember how much, but it was much higher than $50, and apparently because it was a Radio Shack exclusive. Um, Apparently, a lot of people didn't buy, and so it became one of these um, sought after Zoids that Zoid collectors would go for. So I had it. I don't know what happened to it. It was nice. I liked it. The rubber pieces would expand over time, so they would fit tightly over their pegs. But after a while, a couple years later, they would turn hard or harder, and so they won't be as grippy as they used to be, and they would just fall off by themselves, or you're grabbing the thing, and your finger touches one of those rubber peg things the wrong way, and it loses its grip and falls. Yeah. So that was Zoids back then. I think I'm going to make this a little bit thicker here. Oh, excuse me. Beginning to yawn. Oh, it'd be a nice shape to do something interesting. Maybe this thing should go in. Yeah, I'll just make it go in. Like I said, I'm just winging this, improvising everything. I don't really have a plan. Uh, Delete that. What I should do is do it like that. There, mirror. Then take these two things and mirror it the other way. Uh, Oops, sorry. See, I'm not as sharp as I started. Now I want to make this middle part into what's called a construction line. This one too. Now, how come it didn't turn dark gray? Usually, dark gray indicates that it can make the object into 3D. Let's see if I get it. Oh, okay. So, I was expecting to see an error message, but okay. So, probably make this a little bit smaller. Well, let's see. If I choose a different plane for, what if I did something like put some flat points on the outside for a sketch? Do that. Nope. Man, I feel real bad for missing the comment there. Okay, let's just do 5. Let's just do 5 also. 5 in and 5 down. Actually, this will make it 5 in. Let's just do about half. So 5 down. What I'm thinking is that I'm going to have a flat point so I can go more vertically and find the area for the pivot points. Near entities. This one. And I want to go direction 2, or actually, instead of direction 2, let's just say mid plane. Okay, better, but let's just see what I can do here. Maybe this won't look too good. Something else I noticed on Amazon Prime. No, not Amazon Prime. Sorry, on YouTube. Uh, I guess that film TV show distribution company, Film Rise, is showing um, that superhero show that came out in the 80s. The Greatest American Hero, something like that. And I never had the chance to watch that series when it first came out. I think it came out a bit late. I was already doing homework or something like that, so I couldn't really watch. And I tell you, sometimes schools maybe they did it on purpose. Sometimes I do hear from an article here and there. Sometimes schools kind of work with the city to help keep kids occupied so they don't get into mischief, trouble, things like that when the parents are not home. If they're working, by having them do like lots of homework, so it's like calculated to keep them busy for a certain amount of time, so they're not out, causing problems or something. Oh well, oh, I want to do 2 hours worth of stuff, but maybe I won't be able to. Let's see here. So features, let's just I don't know what to do. So all these things I can adjust later. So let's just make this 25. Let's just make it 20. And let's change the perspective of working right there. So let's go sketch, sketch, center line. So there, let's say about 10. So that show, The Greatest American Hero, is not too bad actually. The guy gets his superpowers from a suit that's provided by some aliens that him and an FBI guy were in a car in the desert, and this UFO appears, and basically they get the suit designed for only one of them, and in the course of by the you know, well by the time it gets to the end of the episode, the guy loses his instruction booklet on how to use the powers in that suit. So he doesn't know how to control the suit. Everything is being learned as he goes along. So he spends a lot of time flying through the air, screaming and trying to keep from crashing, which of course he always crashes. But it's not a bad show. So features, well, if I want to do, let me do sketch again. If I want to do the axle, I need to make the axle width. So 3.32. That's I get these vinyl tubes from like Home Depot. They're approximately a little bit more than 6 millimeters diameter. Uh, so I know the measurements by heart now. I use it so much. Oh my lights just turned dark. Computer, set Joe room light to maximum.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. Features. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm getting slow. So my apologies. Maybe I should just go ahead and call it quits for now and continue this maybe tomorrow or some other time. Maybe what I need is coffee. So if we go sketch. So if I go here to here, if I do an offset, let's say that's 10 millimeters there. If I do a 5 millimeter offset, not too bad. Let's just try this there. And features there. So this we can make it like 2 millimeters. That's good enough for that. So you can see it's getting a piece there. Let's just do the same thing on the other side. Let's see if there's been any new questions. No, nothing. So take this, take that, sketch, sketch, that. So I have fun when I do these 3D things, 3D models and such, because it's an opportunity to make something that doesn't exist anywhere else, and that's probably one reason why I like to do things original and not copy something that already exists, like a real world weapon system. I kind of find it more fun to design something completely new, completely different. Ooh, it's good. So, like, anyone can copy a prop. Basically, can eyeball it, look at it, find Google Images, pause a video, things like that, and copy a prop that's on the TV screen. But I kind of like it more when I do something completely different, completely new, something that has never been seen before. So let's go ahead and oh, I didn't haven't saved this. Wow. So let's call this one turret. Turret one. Oh. So for right now, we can quickly take a look and see how the turret looks in this. No, not there directly, but go back to our assembly. Okay. Go insert components, turret. We go mate. First, let's select how high we want this. Basically, we want it up there. And let's say now we want to select the outer face of that, because when I do that, automatically it goes to concentric right there. So I don't have to align anything anymore. This is good enough. So at this point, without doing any more work, it is a turntable. It's not locked down into place. Like if I were to print this out right now, it'll just it'll fall, when we go to move it, because there's no locking mechanism, anything like that. So this is a simple piece right now. Let's go ahead and design the gun part. At least we can begin that. Someone posted a picture in one of the groups of some turrets, some weapon turrets, and it looked pretty good. So it kind of gives me an idea on what I want to do. So let's say let's choose there. It would be nice if I could make the turret, or if I could make the gun actually symmetrical in such a way where I can use the same component for a weapon that has two of these guns. One on the left, one on the right. So in other words, I can print it in one way and then just use it on either side of the turret. So I don't have to do like a right version or left version. I don't have to do anything like that. So let's begin by putting the where the axle part would go. So that was, if you remember, 3.32 for the final, and an offset of 5. Okay, let's add some thickness. 1.5 is my standard, but these are the vinyl pegs, so they have the tendency to want to slip out. So what we do with the vinyl pegs is make it thicker. So let's just say 5, and then when I cut vinyl, sometimes the cuts are not completely straight. There might have a little slant to it. So I should have a little extra space. So let's just make this one 5.5. So it's got half a millimeter of wiggle room, you can say. Okay, so this is going to be the front. I don't really know how I'm going to make the thing look, so let's just add a little spacer right here of a little circle. And let's go to features. Well, let's just make this one 1 actually, instead of 1.5, because I'm going to have stuff in front, on top of this basically. So here, I'd say that's that part there. So let's just say right here. Sketch. So how long should we make this weapon's barrel? So this right here, 70 millimeters, is almost as long as a figure. Figure is 100 millimeters. Let's just say this one's 75 millimeters long from the center of that piece there. And let's go ahead and make kind of like an ending area. Oh, so have any of y'all seen that armor camouflage system called adaptive? So it's designed to fool thermal signatures, so heat signatures. So it can hide the heat signature of, let's say, a tank, so that it looks like a car. So when you look at it through heat imaging equipment, whether it's binocular type thing or some sort of FLIR or something like that. Um, you'll see the silhouette outline, whatever, of a car instead of a tank. So you can apply all it is a series of hexagons, and the hexagons can heat up or cool down very very quickly. So they have these hexagons that they put all over the vehicle, and so you can put these hexagons on aircraft, on ships, things like that. So a large ship would have the heat signature of something smaller, and tugboat or something. And so if you're relying on technology to identify ships targets or tank or something by their heat signature, this thing here will give off a false signature. So you're looking for a tank, for example. Instead, you see cars. So it's just it's a nice little technology that some company came out with, and it is kind of impressive. So let's just say three. Okay, so maybe this will give an idea of what I'm trying to do. I'm thinking of some sort of shape, maybe not so high. Yeah, should be. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm busy yawning. So maybe it should be something like this, very very low. Actually, I kind of think the rear should have a more. Okay, something should have a steeper slope at the back. So right about, let's just say there. Let's just say 18, and then from there to something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, took off a bit too much. And actually, I can just kind of terminate this part right here. So this is a basic shape. I'm going to go ahead and uh, make them all actual lines. And let's see, I can make this. Let's mirror this, and let's do a feature. Let's extrude it. So let's extrude it. Let's say what, 15? Would that look good? Nah, maybe what? Let's try 10. Does this look good? Does that look squared? Maybe it'll be better if I sketch. Actually make a square. Let's get some measurements here. 10. Oh, 9 point. Well, it's kind of close. So let's go ahead and close this. Let's make the barrel parts. Features. Oh, that's some features. Circle. sorry, don't need circle yet. Center line here to here. And didn't catch right there. Well, center point right there. Okay. So that's 8. Let's go ahead and make it a nice 8 millimeters. Let's make this 3D. Let's make this one and let's go ahead and make it kind of a taper, a little draft. Let's say about 1 degree draft, 2, maybe draft outward. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make this 1 degree draft. Should we make it hollow? Let's do a cut for the barrel. Sketch, circle. Okay. Let's do an offset about 1 millimeter. A little bit more. 1.5, just 3. Yeah, that might be okay. So it's really 1.45. That's kind of small. Because I was thinking as I was making that little barrel part, was thinking, if it's not too bad, we can go ahead and just laser cut some acrylic and kind of make it like a little lens. But this is a bit small. So let's just see what we get. So this is just an idea for the moment, very, very basic. Files, save as. What should we call this one? Gun barrel or gun barrel? Let's just call it gun. Let's go back to that assembly and begin to see how it's going to be in shape. So we want to go to insert components, gun, and insert components, gun. So we got 2. Rotate. It's just like a free rotate. You just gotta keep moving it until finally. You don't have to get it precisely just yet. It's the easy way. Just get a face facing in the direction where you want to make the object. If not, the thing will get kind of confused. So let's say we want to take that face, and mate it to this face. Now we want make sure it's going to be concentric. We want where that inside peg axle piece would be to there, concentric. Same thing here. We want this face to mate to this face here. Now we want to make this part, we want to mate it concentric right there. Now, just until we get the axle going, because we don't have the axle yet, I am going to make, let's say, this side and this side aligned. So that way, I can kind of see more or less how I'm doing this. Let me get rid of this outline. It was hide. Save. Any. Okay, let me switch over to here. So maybe this is too wide. Maybe it needs to be more narrow. I would have to kind of redesign this part here. It is doable, it is doable. Can make this part come up. Don't even have to have two of these legs. It can come up and then come over and then go in the middle. That's one way. So, the object use of that. Oh, maybe maybe this is too small. Maybe this needs to rise up and then flare out over these structures, and then maybe something like that. I could put larger missiles or missile pod. Oh, well, maybe this thing here is already too wide. Maybe it needs to be a little bit smaller, more narrow. Mm. Ah, excuse me, I'm yawning. Well, okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for the night. I'll continue this later. But so this started as something for the VSS, but as I was saying, it doesn't have to be only for the VSS. Um, Replace this little grid structure, which would be for the VSS, with a trailer, some sort of legs that could fold down. You could have some wheels. It could be, so you could replace this structure down here with something else, and you could have this turret part, used for other things. I think I need to redesign this turret part really, because I really think the guns are too wide, too separated. So maybe this can come up, and then in the middle they can join. I would have to design the way the peg would go into the peg holes a little bit differently then. But it's not impossible or anything like that. So it's just a little bit more work. Well, not really. So I'm just thinking what remains to do here is about as much work as needed to do the other idea I have in my mind. Anyway, I am tired, so I'm even messing up the way I'm talking. So, uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and just save this again. Rebuild and save, and I'm going to go ahead and close it. Hmm. Well, And that's it. Man, sorry, Chris. I, I wanted to answer that. I just saw the comments. Um, I guess right when you got off, and but yeah, I wanted to do the comment. Okay. I'm not sure if we'll do another group uh, stream for next Friday, only because I think maybe we're going to try a different day, and maybe around, I don't know, would Saturday be a good day? Would Monday, figure Monday or something like that? Um, Yesterday I noticed also just driving around there were a lot of people out, so maybe Thursdays may not be a good day because some people get paid on Thursdays, and they want to hit the stores, they want to go out. Friday is not necessarily a good day either. Uh, it would seem to be okay, but it seems like there's lots. People seem to use Fridays as the opportunity day to meet with family, do family events, things like that. So it doesn't seem to be a good day to do live videos. Um, so maybe we'll move the group stuff to Saturdays or Mondays or something like that. So maybe I need to put a poll on the Die Warriors page, really, or the Die Warriors group, since that seems to be very active with people doing all sorts of posts. And yeah, so huh, wonder what else. Yeah. So, anyways, with that, I'll call it for the night. I wanted to do the entire weapon thing in these 2 hours, but I can't even make it to the top of the hour right now. So I don't think I could do 2 hours. Not the way this is. And I just slowed down with that CAD drawing. I just slowed down. So and you can see it's not really a difficult thing. We got the turret, we got the gun part. So all I need to do from there is either finish up the turret or design a better looking one. Maybe one that's not so tall, definitely not so wide. And the other thing is details, really, because the next big step is just to adding some agreeable shapes here and there to make the gun and the turret a bit more interesting. And then the last step would be to do the locking mechanism for the turret. Basically, you have the bottom of the turret, the top of the turret, so they kind of rotate, or you have to kind of swivel. Then you put like a disc part on top and another one on the bottom, and they kind of intersect. And basically, they can be glued. One part on, let's say the top doesn't get glued, but the axle part does, the bottom part does. Well, yeah, the top part does, the bottom part does, the axle part does, but the top part doesn't. So that way, the turret, you have the peg, so that way the turret can turn around with it. Um, and then just details, just greebles here, greebles there, and a cover if needed for the vinyl hinge piece. So so that's it basically. That's all that's really needed to do for that gun, and then the part will be finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of slow and everything. Uh, no, but it is fun. Doing the CAD drawings is fun. I like it. So, all right, catch y'all later and have a great weekend. Maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. I don't know, but we'll see how things go. Anyways, later.